Hey, thanks for watching. It's Spencer here with Computer Advantage, and I just want to take a minute and tell you about two new features within the Sonos controller app. Sonos recently introduced Sonos controller app version 9.2, and they added two great features that I want to share with you. One is volume control limits. So now you can actually go to each speaker or each zone in the Sonos app and set the maximum volume. So that way, if you have a speaker that's really loud, which most of the Sonos speakers are, you can set that maximum volume. And it's great for people like myself where we have kids that love to close the door and crank the speaker as loud as they can in a room, so we can't really hear that they're doing it. And so now in those rooms, I can go into the app and I can set that maximum volume at whatever level I want. So in those rooms, I've set it to about 75% in most of the rooms. And now when they crank it all the way up on the speaker, they cannot blast their eardrums out because it's not going to get loud enough to do that. And so it's a great feature, so we want to show you how to do that. And so I'm just going to show you real quick in the Sonos app. So go ahead and just open the app. If you don't see these options before we get started, just go ahead and go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and download the latest version of the Sonos controller app, which should be 9.2 or higher. So I'm just going to go to the More button at the bottom and go to Settings. And now I want to go to the room that I want to adjust the volume on. So I'm going to go to Room Settings, and let's just pick our Play 5. If I go down to Volume Limit, you can see it's right here, and it's turned off because it's at 100%. But if I go ahead and move it down, now the maximum volume, is 71%. And that's just all you have to do. And if I go back to the setting here, let me just go back to that real quick. And now I can see where it says volume limit at 71%. So it's really simple to do, and then you can go to each room and you can adjust that level. So what I recommend doing is going to the room, turning it up to 100%, and then adjusting this slider to see how loud it is. And so let me just show you how it works. So what we're going to do is test this right now. So right now I have the volume turned up in the app all the way up in the room settings all the way to the maximum volume. So obviously you can tell that this is not maximum volume because we have the room limit set up. So let's go back to Settings, Room Settings, Play 5, and right now I have it set to 26%. So as I adjust it, you'll be able to hear it get louder. So it's a good way to test. So you could hear that as I went up to 100%, obviously it was very loud, and you won't be able to hear me talk. But this is a great way when you're in the room, you can adjust this in a live setting so you can hear the maximum volume and set it accordingly. And so that's how you can set volume limits. So the second thing I want to show you is something that is going to be less commonly used, but is very powerful and very important for certain installations. So if you have a lot of Sonos equipment, typically connects and connect amps in one room, in a rack, in a closet, in a cabinet somewhere, that are powering, say, your in-ceiling speakers throughout your house, you can always hardwire those into your network, which a lot of people do. So you have Ethernet ports, you can hardwire them in so they're not relying on wireless signal. The problem is when you put a bunch of wireless devices in a metal rack or in any close quarters, they're sending out wireless signal and they're interfering with the wireless signals that you do need to be working well. So Sonos has introduced the ability to disable Wi-Fi on individual Sonos devices. So this is not something you want to do. If you're relying on your Play 1 in the kitchen to be wireless and you don't have it wired into your network with an Ethernet cable, you don't want to turn this on. If you have your Sonos device hardwired with an Ethernet cable into your network, then you could turn off Wi-Fi if you're not using it as an extension or anything like that. So let's go back to the settings of the room, and I'm going to pick one of my Connect amps. So these ceiling speakers are all driven by Connect amps. So I can go to ceiling level 1, and if I go down to advanced room, I have Wi-Fi. So now Wi-Fi is enabled, but I can just disable it, and now it does take a minute to do. All right, so if I go back to level 1, we can see that Wi-Fi has been disabled. And let me go to that room. So those are some in-ceiling speakers that are playing in the room. And so now that's not interfering with other wireless devices, because actually in our rack, we have 4 Connect amps all sitting side by side. And this way, they're all hardwired into our network. And this way, those 4 Connect amps are not sending out wireless signals interfering with each other and other wireless devices that may be in the rack or near the rack. So this is a great option. You have more of a customized install. You can now disable that. Previously, you could disable it, but you had to go into the web interface and type in cryptic codes and things like that. And I don't even remember how to do it because it's been so long since I've done it, but it was not officially supported by Sonos. And if you did it wrong and you called support, they most likely wouldn't be able to help you with it. But now it's built right into the software. So just know if you're using Ethernet, it's a great option to turn off, and it's just less wireless noise in your house or your building, your office, wherever you may be using Sonos app. So again, this is using Sonos app version 9.2. If you don't see those settings, then you want to go check out the App Store, update your app to 9.2 or newer. Thanks for watching, and come see us if you're ready for some Sonos for your house.